Good evening. I'll call to order the Arvada City Council meeting for June 6, 2022, and call upon Councilmember Randy Moorman.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to ask for us to take a moment for reflection, given many of the heavy hearts that we have this past week and some of the events that have happened in our country. And please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kristen Resch, if you'll do the roll call.
Mayor Williams.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Pfeiffer.
Here.
Councilmember Marriott.
Here.
Councilmember Moorman.
Here.
Councilmember Simpson.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Very good. We have the approval of the minutes of May 16th, 2022. Any changes or corrections? Not seeing any, they will stand approved as presented. Tonight, it's our distinct honor to be able to recognize three individuals who have really given so much to this community. We always brag in Arvada about our boards and commissions and what incredible volunteers we have. And tonight we have three of them who have completed their years of service to the community. And so first of all, I'll call upon Councilmember and actually Mayor Pro Tem, Mr. Jones, to present the first one.
Thank you very much. Honored for this opportunity to recognize Patricia Connell. So if you'll come to the podium while I read a little, about your accomplishments over the last 12 years. Tonight we recognize Patricia Connell for her many years of service to the Arvada Planning Commission. The Planning Commission serves as an advisory body to the City Council. The Commission reviews annexations, rezonings, subdivisions, planned unit developments, and formulates long-range comprehensive plans. Individuals on this commission play a key role in the development of the City of Arvada. Ms. Connell has served on the Planning Commission for 12 years, from April 2010 to April 2022. During her tenure, she reviewed over 500 cases of development. The following are some of the more notable cases: Walmart, Candela Subdivision, Leiden Rock, Sunset Mesa, Solana Old Town Station, Old Town Transit Hub, Hilton Garden Inn, the rewrite of the LDC in 2020, and the comprehensive plan update in 2014. Ms. Connell always participated in the meetings with an open mind and showed her love for the City of Arvada. Her contribution to the community is significant, and we thank her for the many years of dedication to the City of Arvada. And I have a certificate of recognition here presented to Patricia Connell in recognition of her 12 years of service to the Planning Commission, signed by the Mayor and all members of Council, and I will bring this down to you right now.
Of course.
Well, that's a deep subject. It was always easy. A lot of reading, but the easy part was all of the information was provided. And it was listed, and there were always printouts of things like that. And when you had maps to follow if you weren't familiar with it. So I appreciate this, and the word humble comes with it, because I had the education level and the involvement in other areas that really helped, but it was the city that provided information, but also looked at all of the areas and considered all of what the persons provided when they testified. So thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. You did a great job for us, and we really appreciated the input you gave us on so many fronts.
This was a surprise when I received the information. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'll call upon Councilmember Randy Mormon.
Thank you, Mayor. It is my distinguished honor this evening to call Mr. Dan Cupit up to be recognized. Tonight we recognize Mr. Dan Cupit for his many years of service to the Citizens Transportation Advisory Committee, in which he served as member and committee chair during his tenure from 4/19/2010 to 4/30/2022. The Transportation Committee is a citizen group that advises City Council on transportation priorities for the city of Arvada. Mr. Cupit contributed to the committee at a time when multiple initiatives were ongoing. These initiatives include prioritizing the role of transportation planning in the city's comprehensive plan, prioritizing RTD transit and G-Line commuter rail services for Arvada, representing the Transportation Committee at the Capital Improvement Program process, public engagement at BITE of Arvada related to travel demand management, prioritizing updates to the city's land development code and engineering standards. Through Mr. Cupid's volunteer efforts and leadership on the Transportation Advisory Committee, the city of Arvada has obtained meaningful feedback from its citizen groups and made significant progress on developing a more robust transportation system. Mr. Cupid's contribution to the community is significant, and we thank him for his many years of dedication to the city of Arvada. Thank you, Mr. Cupid. And I have a certificate of recognition to present to you as well.
Thank you. I would like to thank City Council for the opportunity to serve on the Transportation Committee. It was very rewarding, and I feel like we accomplished a lot during my tenure, and I had the opportunity to work with a lot of different council members and our community, and some of you sitting here. Great learning experience and very rewarding, and I appreciate that opportunity.
Thank you for your service. Congratulations.
Dan's and my hair color both looked a lot better before we started this gig, huh? Now it's my distinct honor to recognize Tony Cline. Tony, if you'll come down to the podium. And I put this in small print because there's so much that I get to talk about with regard to you. Today and tonight we recognize Tony Cline for his many years of service to the Arvada Urban Renewal Authority, which is made up of a dedicated and voluntary board responsible for the revitalization of 5 distinct urban renewal areas within the city of Arvada. Mr. Cline has served on the Arvada Urban Renewal Authority Board of Commissioners for 15 years. Normally we say 10. And we were in a transition period when Tony was going to go off the board, that we were going to have several new members of the board, and it was really felt that it would be beneficial if I could twist Tony's arm to stick around for another 5 years, and he was gracious enough to agree to serve for an additional 5 years. So he served from 2007 to 2022. During his tenure, he was involved in supporting numerous projects and initiatives in Ralston Fields, Old Town Station, and the Village Commons. As the longest serving board member in Aura's history, Mr. Cline's insightful observations and hard work have contributed to positive movements for the city and Aura in the form of the following developments. Many projects have been completed, while others are breaking ground later this year. It is indeed an impressive list. It includes the Arvada Ridge Marketplace, the Arvada Station at Arvada Ridge, the Gateway at Arvada Station, one of his favorites, the restrooms at the Lutz-Stinger Sports Complex, Caroline at Ralston, the shops at Ralston Creek, the Berkeley Townhomes, the Ralston Commons, the residents at Ralston Creek, Ralston Gardens, the Garrison Street Paseo, the Super Walmart, Ralston Creek Streetscape, including some really nice pots for plants, which I know Tony was particularly proud of, the Ralston Road Streetscape, the Park Place Old Town, Solana Old Town Station, the residences at Old Town Station, the shops at Old Town Station, the Marriott Residence Inn, the Trolley Park, and the Hilton Garden Inn. Tony has always brought wonderful perspective and innovation to the Aura board. Tony is not a yes man. There were times when something would be presented and he would be the curmudgeon or the person that says, well, we got to take another look at this and really make sure this is the right direction to go. He was not a yes man. We will miss his enthusiasm for civic engagement and his commitment to the community. His contributions to Aura and the city include a great amount of leadership, planning, and organization. We thank him, and I personally thank him, for all of his time and dedication, which we're proud to say will always represent our roots as an entity that cares about our city's enrichment. So, Mr. Cline, thank you for your years of service. I'll be presenting you a recognition tonight of your 15 years of service to the Arvada Urban Renewal Authority, signed by myself and all members of the City Council.
Thank you.
Yes, you get to, you have the floor.
All right, nice. So when I was invited here, I had no idea that I was going to get another chance at the microphone, so I'm going to drag this out a little bit. No, I just wanted to say, during my 15 years, I have met a ton of wonderful people that live in the city of Arvada, and when I joined the board selfishly, it was to see what I could learn about the city process, and I still have a lot to learn after 15 years. There's a lot that goes into making this city great, and I thank each and every one of you for your contributions and for the contributions of everyone that I had an opportunity to work with throughout the years, and I hope I gave back as much as I could, and it was a great ride. So thank you very much.
These three individuals really do demonstrate what great volunteer spirits we have in our community. Thank each and every one of you for what you've done for us over the years, and I bet we haven't seen the last of you. Tonight, we do have an opportunity for public comment, and I would indicate, first of all, that we will not be hearing tonight any discussion on the Howard Ranch project. That matter, which was originally on our agenda tonight, has been continued, and a new notice will be published for that. With that, Leroy Standish.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, sir.
First time here, so hello, everybody. I recognize one gentleman here. How are you? I had only one subject when I woke up this morning, but I figured as long as I'm here, I'll throw out three of them. I was talking to a cop today, and he was telling me that you all were thinking about getting electric police cars, and we're going with maybe hybrids or something. I was talking to him a little bit. I was saying, why don't you guys get an electric ambulance? And why don't you apply through the Biden administration? There's a lot of funds there for electric chargers, and you can dazzle them with a little innovation, and you can get some money. You can make Arvada a little bit leaning forward in the electric change that is coming for us all. Secondly, I wanted to mention I had been taking a lot of walks through parks lately. I thought it was interesting. I guess he left, but the urban renewal guy was here. I've noticed the difference between summer and fall. When I walk through the park in fall, all kinds of great views. You know, in the wintertime, you can see the mountains, you can see the city. You walk through Skyline Park, wow, there's downtown. Summertime comes, all those are blocked off. There's great foliage, there's great parks, it's a wonderful place, there's birds, but there's a larger picture, I think, and I think we miss that sometimes. And I think that applies also to the development I see around town a lot. Over by the Walmart, there's 2 or 3 story house going up, apartments, and I always thought that guy had such a wonderful view. I'd walk by there, I'd ride my bike by there, and it was just breathtaking. Every time you come around the corner, it's gone. Somebody's buying it. It's great, but it's those little things that I think make a community, make a person, make a town. And lastly, on that matter, I realize I am part of this town, and I realize a lot of people have been trying to help me on something. But at the same time, I think I'm being over assaulted. Every day I'm hit with pepper balls. I barely get any sleep at night. My house is full of all kinds of crazy irritants like mace and pepper spray and gases that knock me out almost, make me feel ill. This is being done by people all over that keep coming by my house. I've complained to the police department. They tell me I'm crazy. And I just want these things to stop. And I don't know how to make them stop. There's been other incidences with the police where automatically I'm assumed to be a nutcase. You know, I got punched and I broke my leg. I fall down. I got taken to the hospital. It happened in Old Town Arvada a few years ago. And the first thing the cop says to me is like, well, you must have said something to him. Must be your fault, Mr. Standish. And that's the way I feel. Whatever's been going on, I feel like a domestic violence victim, that somehow it's my fault. So I'm just asking whoever is out there doing all of this, I assume it's a community effort, and that's maybe my fault for assuming this, but I'm tired of it. I'm putting my foot down, and I'm saying, please stop. Whatever it is, please stop. Thank you for allowing me to comment. I hope some of those suggestions are acted upon. I think the electric idea was a great one, and I'd like to see Arvada be more progressive. And the views, I'd like to see what's around me.
Okay,
Thank you,
sir.
Have a great night.
You too. Do we have anybody else signed up for public comment? Is there anybody else that would like to make public comment tonight? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment portion. We'll go on to new business. We have a couple items on the consent agenda. The first is R-22-039, which is a resolution authorizing a second amendment to the agreement between the City of Arvada and R.J. Filane Construction Company awarding contractor Phase 2 and establishing contractor's guaranteed maximum price for Phase 2 of the Construction Management General Contractor Agreement for pre-construction services for the construction of a new pump station, the Canyon Pines Pump Station, and modifications to an existing pump station, the Ransom Pump Station, an amount not to exceed $5,778,000. The second one is a resolution authorizing a construction contract agreement between Arvada and A1 Chip Seal Company in the amount of $1,258,773 for 2022 street chip and slurry seal program. Mr. Marriott.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that consent agenda items R-22-039 and 22-040 both be approved.
Motions for approval. Mr. Pfeiffer, how do you vote?
To vote yes, but can I do thumbs up? Would that be easier, Mayor?
No, I need a vocal, yeah.
Yep, so yes.
Okay, and showing the rest of council is also voting in the affirmative, so that passes 7-0. Thank you. Next is a resolution authorizing acceptance of the Colorado Regional Opioid Intergovernmental Agreement with the counties of Clear Creek, Gilpin, and Jefferson, and other participating local governments within those counties for the establishment of the Region 10 Regional Council as required by the Colorado Opioid Summary Memorandum of Understanding signed October 18, 2021. Mr. Devon, are you handling this?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. So back on October, the City Council did authorize the Colorado Opioid Settlement MOU, which was drafted by the Attorney General. This is the next step in the process to implement a regional collaboration that organizes all local governments in our state into different regions that would be requesting the allocation of opioid settlement funds from the General Abatement Council. This resolution would authorize the mayor or the mayor pro tem to sign the intergovernmental agreement. We recommend the approval of the resolution as we discussed back in October. This is something that will generate funds not only for Arvada but throughout the state. These are settlement funds associated with the opioid crisis that occurred over the preceding several years, and it will also help to provide a potential treatment for people that have been affected by opioid addiction and other other conditions along those lines. And by participating in this intergovernmental agreement, Arvada can be a partner with not only local governments in Jefferson County, but local governments throughout the entire state. So we are recommending approval.
Okay, open it up for council questions or action. Ms. Simpson. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Smith. Yes, you may make your motion.
All right. I move that R 22-041, a resolution authorizing acceptance of the Colorado Regional Opioid Intergovernmental Agreement with the counties of Clear Creek, Gilpin, and Jefferson, and other participating local governments within the counties for the establishment of the Region 10 Regional Council as required by the Colorado Opioid Summary Memorandum of Understanding signed October 18th, 2021, be approved.
Motions for approval. Mr. Pfeiffer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Remainder of council votes yes as well. That passes 7-0. I appreciate council approving this since I serve as the city's representative to our region. So I guess that validates my involvement with that. So that passes unanimously. Thank you. Next ordinance is on first reading. Mr. Jones.
Thank you very much. We have three ordinances for first reading tonight. Council Bill 22-058, an ordinance amending Section 38-304, smoking prohibited, of Division 3, smoking restricted in public places, of Article 7, air pollution, of Chapter 38, environment, of the City of Arvada, the Arvada City Code, and Council Bill 22-059, an ordinance authorizing an intergovernmental agreement by and between the City of Arvada and the State of Colorado, Department of Higher Education, the State Board for Community Colleges and Occupational Education, acting by and through Red Rocks Community College for a 100-year lease of a parcel north of Red Rocks Community College for the construction of a health and fitness focused park. And Council Bill 22-060, an ordinance authorizing the master intergovernmental agreement by and between Apex Park and Recreation District and the City of Arvada, governing the lease and maintenance of certain facilities and parks, and amending the ground lease for the indoor turf fields on Stinger Lutz Sports Complex, be approved, and public hearings set for June 27th, 2022 at 6:15 p.m. Or be approved on first reading, right? I missed that part. Be approved on first reading.
Ordered, published,
and orders thank you, and ordered in published full with public hearing set for June 27th, 2022 at 6:15 p.m.
Motions for approval on first reading. Mr. Pfeiffer.
Yes.
And the rest of council votes in the affirmative as well. That passes 7-0.
Sorry, Ms. Morris, I forgot that one important part.
You caught it. It's all good.
Okay, we're after 6:15, so we can open the public hearings. I'll open the public hearing for the third substantial amendment to the 2020 Annual Action Plan for the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program to reallocate CDBG funds. Same time, we'll consider R 22-42, a resolution approving the submission of a third substantial amendment to the 2020 Annual Action Plan for the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program to reallocate CDBG funds. Mr. Devon.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. So what R 22-042 proposes to do is to amend. It's a significant amendment to our Community Development Block Grant funds and reallocating CDBG funds. We're proposing to reallocate $118,000 of the 2020 CDBG funding for non-congregate shelter for persons experiencing homelessness who are medically compromised and are at a high risk of COVID, rent mortgage relief for Arvada residents, and also security deposit assistance to people experiencing homelessness to secure housing. This is something that was reviewed by our housing team. They determined that we still continue to have needs in this area, dealing with particularly the high cost of housing. So these funds will help us with meeting those needs, and this has been vetted by our housing team, and that's why we're recommending approval of the resolution.
Very good. Do we have any member of the public that would like to address City Council on this matter? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment portion. Mr. Mormon.
Thank you, Mayor. I just had a question, Mr. Devon. So this 118,000, how is that amount determined? And I appreciate the bulleted list of what needs are there, but is there? I didn't see some specific data to show, how many persons we're expecting to help with that 118,000.
I don't know if we have an exact number that we estimate, but I would say that there's probably, somewhere in the vicinity of 15 to 20, 25 families households that we would help with rent and mortgage relief. And then in terms of the non-congruent shelter for persons experiencing homelessness, we would be leveraging that with our partners in the county in terms of providing funds to housing vouchers and other things along those lines for people that would be experiencing homelessness, especially as we progress into the later this year into severe weather.
Great, thank you for that. So we will at some point then see a report on the expenditure of these funds and actually how many are served by this.
Yes,
these
as a matter of
programs,
fact, our housing team provides a breakdown of those funds during periodic meetings of the Housing Authority, which of course the City Council sits as the Housing Authority Board. So yes, you would see reports on that later on.
Great, thank you.
Okay, open it up for any additional questions or action. Ms. Smith,
I'll make the motion if there's no other questions.
you may proceed.
I move that R 22-042, a resolution approving the submission of a third substantial amendment to the 2020 Annual Action Plan for the Community Development Block Grant CBDG program to reallocate CBDG funds to be approved.
Motions for approval. Mr. Pfeiffer, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the remainder of council joins you in that. That passes unanimously 7-0. Thank you. Next, we'll consider three matters. First, R 22-043, a resolution setting forth certain findings of fact and conclusions as to the annexation of certain land into the city of Arvada, 7850 Alkire. We'll also consider Council Bill 22-055, an ordinance annexing certain land into the city of Arvada for 7850 Alkire Street, a 2.5-acre parcel of land approximately located at 7850 Alkire Street. And finally, Council Bill 22-056, an ordinance zoning certain land in the city of Arvada for 7850 Alkire Street, a 2.5-acre parcel of land from Jefferson County PD Planned Development to City of Arvada RN-32.5, Residential Neighborhood 32.5, and amending the official zoning maps of the city of Arvada, Colorado, approximately located at 7850 Alkire Street. Mr. Devon.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we'll have Planning Manager Rob Smetana present these items.
Thank you. Mayor, members of council, as mentioned, the applicant is requesting annexation of a 2.5-acre parcel into the city for the purpose of obtaining water and sewer service from the city. No other development is proposed at this time. The property, as mentioned, is currently in unincorporated Jefferson County, and the proposed zoning is RN 32.5, which would allow a minimum of a 32,500 square foot lot. The Planning Commission voted unanimously to recommend approval of the annexation and zoning during their April 19th meeting. We have received the signed posting log and mailing affidavit, and they are in order. The applicant is in attendance for a presentation and to answer any questions. We also have Linda Hoover, Senior Planner, for any questions as well. Thank you.
Very good. The posting log and the mailing affidavit will be made part of the record for the applicant. If you'll, any others who wish to speak, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Very good. You can make your presentation.
Thank you for considering our request to annex to the city. We've been located this property for approximately 15 years now. Love it. Beautiful city. We've actually raised our children here, but all we're requesting is to connect to the water and sewer. It's an old property that's been actually has a long history, quite frankly, there, but the well's getting old and the septic system is we need to move on and modernize it. So that's our request, very simple. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, one question for sure, your
Okay.
name.
My name is Perry Vasquez, sorry. Should start there, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, and this is my wife, Ilsa Vasquez.
Great, and your address is that address?
Yes, 7850 Alkire
Great.
Street, yes.
And you've got an existing structure on that property?
Yes, that's where our home is. And like I say, we've been living there for about 15 years now.
Great. Is there anybody else that would like to testify on this matter? Seeing none, we'll close the public comment portion and open it up for city council questions and action. Ms. Simpson.
I'll make the motion if there's no questions.
I see no other lights. You may proceed.
All right. I move that R22-043, a resolution setting forth certain findings of fact and conclusions as to the annexation of certain land into the city of Arvada, Colorado, 7850 Alkire Street, be approved.
Motions for approval. Mr. Pfeiffer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Remainder of council votes yes as well. That passes 7-0. Ms. Simpson?
All right, let me pull up the next one here. So we're pulling up 55. Okay. All right, I move that CB 22-055, an ordinance annexing certain land into the city of Arvada for 7850 Alkire Street, a 2.5-acre parcel of land approximately located at 7850 Alkire Street, be approved on final reading, numbered 4802, and ordered published by title only.
Motions to approve the annexation. All votes are cast. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
And the rest of the council votes yes as well. That passes unanimously. And the final one.
All right, I move that CB 22-056, an ordinance zoning certain land in the city of Arvada for 7850 Alkire Street, a 2.5-acre parcel of land from Jefferson County PD Plan Development to City of Arvada RN-32.5 Residential Neighborhood 32.5, and amending the official zoning maps of the city of Arvada, Colorado, approximately located at 7850 Alkire Street, be approved on final reading, numbered 4803, and ordered published by title only.
And this is the zoning. All votes are cast. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Rest of the council votes yes as well. Congratulations. You're now members of the city of Arvada.
Appreciate it.
You get to vote us in or out. Your choice.
Welcome, we're happy to have you.
Have a great night. Then I'll open the public hearing on our final item tonight, Council Bill 22057, an ordinance adding Article 5, entertainment districts and common consumption areas of Chapter 6, alcoholic beverages of the Arvada City Code. Mr. Devon?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I think the council all knows the history of why we're presenting this ordinance tonight. When we made the decision to block off the streets in Old Town, it was in order to provide additional space for restaurants and other businesses to operate. And then the governor issued an executive order which suspended certain restrictions on the sale of alcohol as to allow for an area of common consumption within about 1,000 feet of the licensed premises. That stayed in, that executive order enabled us to issue an executive order to allow that to occur here in Arvada. At the point that the impacts of the pandemic began to lessen, and the governor chose to rescind his executive order, which caused us to have to rescind our order as well for the common consumption. The feedback that we received from the community and from the Business Improvement District and other stakeholders in Arvada suggested that we should allow, we should look at opportunities to allow for this to occur going forward. So working with the BID as well as working with others in the community, we put together an ordinance that would allow for common consumption, which provides, which is the conditions of an entertainment district that would continue to allow for some form in a somewhat limited manner for common consumption to occur within the entertainment district. Within the discussion section of the report before you, there are criteria that would be outlined as part of the ordinance, or that is outlined as part of the ordinance. I won't review that entire criteria, but the point of having the criteria is that we would look at information and data and conditions that would define our ability to apply this ordinance in an entertainment district. We would certainly work with the businesses in order to make sure that these conditions are met, and we are recommending approval of the ordinance following your public hearing.
Very good. Is there any member of the public that would like to address City Council on this matter? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment portion. Mr. Marriott.
Yeah, I don't have any questions, but I'd just like to reserve the motion when it's appropriate.
Very good. Couple questions from me on this. Is there going to have to be a process by the businesses down there to apply for this, or is it just sort of blanket authority within, as long as they're within the district? How's that all going to work?
I can answer that, Mayor. So this would just allow the city council to make entertainment districts anywhere within the city.
Okay.
So after this, if there's a resolution before you to pass an entertainment district within Old Town, for example, you would then say, in this district, there can be common consumption areas. The businesses would then have to create a promotional association where they go to the liquor board and apply for a common consumption area that's specifically within the entertainment district.
Okay, so there's steps that, this doesn't mean that common consumption is going to start tomorrow.
No.
There's a process that people, I just want to make sure people understand that there's a process that these businesses are going to have to do to get back to where they were during the pandemic.
Right. City council would still need to approve an entertainment district, and then the businesses within there would have to come to the liquor board to get a common consumption area license for a specific area within the entertainment district.
Very good. Mr. Marriott?
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that Council Bill 22-057, an ordinance adding Article 5, entertainment districts and common consumption areas of Chapter 6, alcoholic beverages of the Arvada City Code, be approved on final reading, numbered 4804, and ordered published in full. And I'll make a quick comment. I'm voting for this enabling legislation to enable these entertainment districts. I think Old Town might be the poster child for where an entertainment district could or should be, and I think it's really good of us for entertaining this idea and thinking ahead. And thank goodness we've had this really good experience of kind of testing it out during the pandemic, which makes me very comfortable in doing it. So I'll certainly be voting yes.
Okay, Mr. Pfeiffer, how do you vote?
Yes.
Rest of council joins you in that. It passes 7-0. I want to echo Mr. Marriott's words of, we really did do a trial run with this during the pandemic, and I want to thank the visitors and citizens of Arvada who behaved appropriately during the pandemic while we had common consumption, and proved, I think, that we can do this in an appropriate adult-like manner so that this will be a safe area and an appropriate area for this type of endeavor, and that there might be other places within the city of Arvada where that's appropriate as well. With that, we have no other public hearings tonight. Anybody else wish to address this during public comment? Seeing none, I'll close that public comment portion. Any city council reports? Mr. Mormon.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two items to report on. One is the Rocky Flat Stewardship Council had their bi-monthly meeting today, and I've already discussed this with the Arvada team here, but one opportunity that has come up on the Stewardship Council is for the city to put in a formal request for air monitoring, to start a baseline of air monitoring at Rocky Flats. And that is especially due to the increased concern of fires occurring on Rocky Flats and how that may impact air quality. And so we need to start doing that baseline monitoring before those fires occur. So I know that the staff will be, the Arvada team will be working on that, and so I appreciate that. My second item is this Sunday will be a Pride celebration at Arvada United Methodist Church, in which I will be speaking at noon, and so invite anyone and everyone to come and join us. Thank you.
Great. Ms. Simpson?
I also have two items. The first is that a few weeks ago, we had a successful election here in the city for Apex Board of Directors and Fire Board of Directors. I just wanted to thank all of the volunteers and all of the people who came out to vote to pull that off, as well as congratulate everyone who was either re-elected or newly elected. The council looks forward to working with you for our great city. And the second thing is to promote, speaking of common consumption, Mayor, Arvada on Tap is coming up June 18th, noon to 4 p.m. This is a huge fundraiser that goes to benefit several community groups, including Arvada Festivals, Kiwanis, Rotary, I believe a couple others. It's a super, super fun event, adults only. It is Arvada on Tap for a reason. It's a beer festival. And there's also an amateur barbecue competition, and my husband and I are going to be barbecuing. So please come out and taste it, because it's going to be amazing, you guys. So come out and enjoy.
Very good. Mr. Devon?
Just want to remind the council for our workshops next week, June 13th. We're going to discuss the family medical leave legislation and a specific recommendation around that, as well as an update on code enforcement.
Very good. Ms. Morris?
Nothing from me, Your Honor.
Very good. We'll stand adjourned and go Avs.